Today we are honored to have former Ahly coach Pitso Mosimane with us in studio just to talk about the state of football in South Africa as a whole and also the legacy that he's building thus far. Good morning, coach. Thank you so much for your time and welcome to our studios here in Randburg. I mean, this week we saw you being in the news in terms of you partnering with the Gauteng MEC of Education, Panyaza Lisufi, in terms of reviving sport in school. I mean, you being intentional about your contribution in terms of developing football in the country.
Yeah, good morning and thanks for having me here. Yes, the most important thing is to develop football because we all know the state of football that we are at this moment in the country. And everybody speaks about our football is not at the right level. And everybody speaks about we need to develop football, but we don't know how to do it. So I think the best thing is to get first to the schools, because that's where the talent is. If you look at rugby and cricket, there are those schools that you know that the ballplayers will come from there. And the cricket, even like the Makayan teams, you know, they went to certain schools. And we had also here the Sports School of Excellence at that time. And it even produced Bafana players and players who played in Europe and a small space, you know. So I went to the MEC as MEC. We need to do something with the schools because all the children are at schools. I'm not talking about academies that the clubs have. They have 2020 there, 2020 here. So there's many leftovers, to be honest. So if you go to school and develop them at the school, we can do something.
I mean, you just talking about developing them at the school. You also have the Pitso Mosimane school that you are currently launching. What does it say then about the current crop of players that are playing in the PSL and also representing the country? Do we still have the time to mold them into the brilliant footballers that we'd want to see from those ones that you groom from a young age? Yeah,
if you want to develop entrepreneurs, you take them to school. It's a process. The school maybe is 12 years or 15 years. I'm not sure, from grade R to wherever, it takes years, it takes time. And you'll know what you're going to develop. So you can't cut corners here and try and fix it quickly. It's not going to happen like that. You must develop them from an early age. And to be honest, between 3 and 5 years program we have a program that from 6 to 9, we have a program from 9 to 12, like a primary. And we have the ones from 13 to 18, which is the high schools. So you need to go into the schools. I put coaches in the schools. I take CAF SAFA D licensed coaches, and I make them go through my manual, which is an international standard, which complies with what FIFA is doing, which complies with what Europe is doing. So you don't just do anything because you want to do something. You make sure that you tick the right boxes, that the same curriculum that produced those top players that we always see on TV playing, we need to give our players the same thing. But we have not been giving them the right curriculum.
Is it too late for us in terms of the players that are already in the PSL, from your observation and the standard?
The players that are in the PSL are people like me. I'm a product of playing football in the PSL. And the best players we have ever produced to play overseas is Benny McCarthy, Stephen Pienaar, who played long at big clubs. Maybe a Pesitau also. But only 3. Look at Senegal, look at Nigeria, look at all these big clubs. That's why they're in the World Cup all the time. And then we ask ourselves, why are we not in the World Cup? Why we don't win the AFCON Cup of Nations? Because we don't. If you go with the curriculum at school, if they're in grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, you've got to teach them the right thing, the right curriculum that fits with the level, the capacity of the brain of the child. And also the physical side, the body, the human movement studies. So you have to make sure that everything fits in there. Just do what Europe do. We are all human beings. we will produce the same player.
I mean, just talking about those current crop of players, what's your take on, I mean, you're talking about Benny McCarthy, and now we see him going to Manchester United. Yes. But in his playing days, we see them going overseas. Even Lucas Radebe, just to think of a few, they go overseas, they stay there for a while, and then come back to give back to South African football. However, the current crop of players right now, it seems like they're coming back to South Africa prematurely.
But because they didn't go through the curriculum. It's people like me. I also played football overseas. We played because we had talent, you know. We didn't have the right, let's go back to school. We didn't have the right manuals. We didn't write the right books. We will always do well because you have talent, but you can never be a top entrepreneur if you didn't give a child at school a good book, a good teacher. And if you take the intelligent ones and you put them in one place, you're going to get A students. You're going to get good entrepreneurs, no doubt about it. So we should copy the same model that is done academically into football, and we haven't been doing that. And the reason we haven't been doing that is because we did not know what to do. Second, we did not have the information. We were coached when we were young by players who were ex-players before. The coaches were ex-players before, and they coached us the way they were coached by other coaches. So we need to have a document that is doing that. FIFA is here also to teach some of the teachers, which is good. So those are the things we're talking about. Let's develop local players with the same curriculum that Europe is doing. We will get top players.
Talking about Europe, Coach, previously you did say you don't see yourself having an opportunity of coaching in Europe. You have a CAF Pro license right now. Do you still feel the same?
Yes, I can't put myself in Europe. My work needs to put me in Europe. And I think, I don't know how you feel about my work. I don't know. But I don't know why Africans are not in Europe, but Europeans are in Africa. So I think what you're doing now, I think you can anchor a TV channel in Europe, can't you?
Thank you very much. Absolutely.
So why can't we do the same thing in football? If our doctors here if our doctors can cure a human body, so when you go to Europe, that human body is different. The doctor from here, qualified here, can do that. So the only thing that's not happening is only on football coaches. That is the problem that we have with European football. You can never ever tell me, out of all these Africans who have played football in Europe, who have won the Champions League, who have scored the goals that we have seen, none of the African player has a capacity to be a coach in Europe, excuse me, in all these clubs. I'm not talking about Manchester City or United. I'm talking about Blackburn Rovers. I'm talking about Sheffield Wednesday. I mean, really, let's be serious here.
I mean, just talking about that then, right now with this CAF Pro license, you can go anywhere in the world.
Yes.
You've said previously that right now you're sussing things out, trying to see which is the best offer for you. But for Pitso Mosimane, if you were to say this is my ultimate, where would you like to see yourself?
In football, you never say what is the ultimate. It depends what...
I'm sure you've got dreams, goals, ambitions.
Yeah, if you ask me at this point in time, where I am, I'm in Africa, in the continent. What is it that I have not won? I've won everything in the continent. There's no tournament I've not won. The only one I haven't won is the AFCON.
Yeah.
Yes. So if there's a good project, not offer project, if there's a good project of a team that has capacity to win the AFCON, we will consider that. But they must be serious. They must never be they want a coach because they want a coach. And I should also assess if can we really achieve what we want to achieve here. So that's what I'm looking for at the moment. Or even a club in South Africa that wants to win the Champions League, that wants to win the CAF Super Cup. Yes, they must be serious. But I've been to 4 times to the Champions League final. I know how to get there. I know how not to get there. And I failed, I think, maybe 5 times to go to the final. I failed about 5 times. So I've learned. In football, we say is lessons learned, not to fail. I've learned my mistakes, what to do. But now you end up, the last 3 Champions League, I went to the final. So it means the information now we have found a specimen of how we can do that. So that's what we have. And that's now one of the things that we're doing is the master class with my people.
Yeah.
So what is the master class? Master class, we started to pilot with the Royal AM, with the coaches, with Dan Malisela, was a friend of mine, was my captain, in fact, at Orlando Pirates, even at Sundowns. So we piloted it. That Mam Kiza said, no problem, bring it over. So we were telling them why I failed to go to the Cup of Nations, to the Champions League, the 5 times, and what made me to go 4 times. What made me not to win the FIFA Club World Cup, why I ended up in the semi-finals all the time and get a bronze medal. How we have won the CAF Super Cup 3 times. How we have won the leagues in South Africa with Sundowns so many times, 5 times and all that. How we have made the trebles at Mamelodi Sundowns. We've made 2 trebles at Mamelodi Sundowns. We've made trebles in Ahly. So what has happened? How did you achieve that? So we give him the stories of why we haven't made it, why we made it, how come we made it, what are the most important things to look after, like traveling, scheduling, training programs, how do we train, because we have a lot of games, how do we deal with games in hand, squad rotation, team management, all of those things to let them know what we did. I'm with a group of people. I've got 4 people always with me. My 2 analysts, Musi and Kyle, Musi Matlaba and Kyle Solomons, and I've got Kawelo Rangwaha KB, who is the best trainer in the continent.
Are you looking to go to other clubs in the PSL? Have they received you up?
Well, they must ask for it, I think, first. Then we can go. But Africa wants it. Uganda wants it. Tanzania. I was in Tanzania. They invited me there to see Yanga. They want it. And if South Africa doesn't want it, I'll tell the other African clubs how to get to the Champions League.
Coach, unfortunately, we have run out of time. Thank you so much for coming through. That is former Ahly coach Pitso Mosimane just talking about his contribution to football in South Africa and Africa as a whole.